Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. I'm at about 80%, getting better, almost completely done with this cold, or presumably cold, that I have here. And today I want to talk to you guys a bit about Dreamweaver, Dream Delver, her new final ability, and hopefully try and answer most of, if not all, the questions about why are people playing Dreamweaver as Demo? As Destro, which we know for the most part, but why is Demo being played as Dreamweaver? Why are people playing Dreamweaver as Aff? What has changed? What makes her so good? I want to address Demo and Aff mostly. Like I said, Destro's sort of been taken care of, but look at the builds, look at the interactions with legendaries and certain other abilities, and then talk a bit about why Nia has unfortunately not been as good as we necessarily expected, or will be whenever we get her final ability unlocked next week as well, at least as far as demonology is concerned. Now, any weak auras, profiles, or add-ons you see here, you can indeed grab for free off my Twitch. If you want to swing by, hang out, ask any questions anytime, feel free to do so. I also want to give a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much for support. I really truly do indeed appreciate it. If you guys are interested in looking at maybe supporting, there should be a link somewhere at the end of the video, and maybe somewhere up here a little bit ago somewhere. With that being said, let's start off just looking at Dreamweaver and what has really changed over the last few weeks, and why she's become just a really strong Soulbind for Warlock. Oh, and similar to the last video, I had to go back and re-record this again because I forgot. Again, we are less than 40 subs away from 50,000 on YouTube. Once again, I don't get anything from it. It's just a personal goal. If you guys aren't subbed to the channel and wouldn't mind contemplating it, considering it, hitting the subscribe button below, please feel free to do so. 50K has been a goal of mine for a long time, and it would be awesome to hit it. Now, with that being said, let's actually get into the video. Okay, so getting into the big Nia versus Dreamweaver changes here. I'm playing Affliction, I'm spec as Affliction. I'm actually on PTR, which is surprisingly still up, which makes this possible because conduit energy is still a thing on retail. So the cool thing here, now, I guess recapping some of the changes they've made to Dreamweaver. Number one, going into 9.1, I believe going into the raid actually, they buffed Field of Blossoms. They increased it from, I believe, 9 or 10 seconds to 12, and the haste amp was increased to 15%. I believe it was 12.5 or 13% before. So Dreamweaver and Nia were already relatively close in both settings, but both having 3 potencies, and Dreamweaver having Field of Blossoms, which, you know, is paired with Soul Rot, similar to how Grove Invigoration is with Nia. Getting this buffed bumped it up a decent bit more. Now, in the raid, Destro and Demo are your main specs for the most part. We know that Destro is very good at 2-target cleave, which haste buffs Field of Blossoms 2-target cleave. So, for the most part, everybody decided to go with Dreamweaver as Destro for the raid, which I do indeed feel was the right call. However, we are getting to that point in Renown, where we are getting the capstone final traits like Dream Delver, like Wild Hunt Stratagem, and whatever this is called, Bonded Hearts. There we go. Bonded Hearts finally unlocking. And with that being said, it does bring or raise more questions as to, okay, what does this change for this spec? How does this work? And, well, you know, what is going to be best? Now, initially, there was a lot of speculation around Nia and Bonded Hearts. So, for those of you who don't know what Bonded Hearts does, you gain a stack of redirected anima, or gaining one from Grove Migration, heals up to 5 nearby allies for 2% of their health, up to a max of 2k. If an ally if any of the affected allies are of another covenant, redirected anima's mastery and maximum health effects are increased by 50% for 5 seconds. Now, we're going to talk about both Demo and Aff here. Once again, Destro, you play Dreamweaver, it's good. But so this was speculated to be very, very strong for Demonology, because Demonology, stamina amps. Once again, I hope people believe me now that Demonology is one of the better specs, if not best spec in the game, single target wise, and is one of your better PI targets. But regardless, this was speculated to be a very good option for Demonology, because Nia's already good. You already have Grove Invigoration, stamina increase. You already have the Mastery effect, and this would be like a passage rate you got and just gave you more stamina. But there's 2 problems with this. Number one is that it lasts 5 seconds. Unlike Wild Hunt Tactics, or sorry, Grove Invigoration that lasts a full 30. This effect is tied to Grove Invigoration, but it only lasts 5 seconds. Now, you can gain random stacks in certain points just from passive procs, but you can't control that, right? Number 2 is that Demonology pets, I can probably show you on a dummy over here actually, are slow to update. Pets in general, Hunter pets, Warlock pets, are slow to update stamina wise whenever you gain a stamina increasing effect, whether it be a Gladiator's Emblem or a rally or an APT or an AV, which is why you see demo locks having to like sort of, you know, play around these CDs with enough time around so that they can basically guarantee their pets getting the effect. It's why you soul rot before your Grimoire and your Vile Fiend and everything else, because it will guarantee that effect. Pets that are summoned after you apply the soul rot or stamina increasing effect will spawn with the increased health pool, but pets that are active before then, they take a little while at times to get the health amp. Let's see if I can focus my pet here. Now, for example, here, I'll pull my Felguard out. I already have him focused here because I actually popped Soul Rot with Dreamweaver focused, fixated, selected instead of Nia, but we're Nia now. We have Grove Invigoration. So here's my pet. I'll focus him again. Now, here's his health pool. I'm going to pop Soul Rot, but watch how long it takes for his stamina to update because he's out already before I pop the Soul Rot. So here goes the Soul Rot. Pet. It's about 2-ish seconds there, give or take, but it can be upwards of 5-6 seconds. The fact of the matter is, if I did it again here, like 1 or 2 more times, it would never be the same timing wise. It's not instant. Now, normally it's longer than that. I've seen imps take 5-6 seconds. It takes a while, but the fact of the matter is that the new Bonded Hearts ability is only for 5 seconds, and that gives you a very small window to actually get that effect and then have that effect update on your pets while going into your Tyrant. Regardless, you would, even if, like, let's say it was an instant cast update kind of ability, it would still require you to move your Soul Rot probably to where you're casting it in between your second to last hand of Gul'dan, which most likely is going to be more like less imps, pets expiring or coming close to it. And what you still also have the stamina effect issue mixed in there. So Bonded Hearts, as cool as it sounds and as interesting, as powerful as it could be for demo, well, it just, I feel like it hasn't really panned out like we thought it would be, mainly due to the stamina healing effect. Is it fine? Yes. Is it solid? Yes. Will it work out at times? Probably. But with the buff to Dreamweaver and Dream Delver, it's actually catapulted her in Sims. I have not played with it myself yet, but in Sims, above Nia, as far as demonology is concerned. Now, the Sims that I've run here, I can pull them up briefly. The Sims that I've run here, these Sims are full traits here. You've got Bonded Hearts with Nia. This is actually for, yeah, this is demonology. So you've got Bonded Hearts with Nia here at about 8669. You've got 8,808. So about 140 DPS increase, give or take, favoring Dreamweaver with Dream Delver, with Field of Blossoms, or playing Fel Commando, Tyrant Soul, and Born of Blood. Now, the one big difference here is that Nia is a passive ability. You hit your Growth Invigoration, you get the Mastery buff, you get the stamina effect. With Dreamweaver, it's Field of Blossoms. It places that blue circle at your feet. So it's not hard to miss Field of Blossoms. If you miss time an ability, have a mechanic coming at you, you have to move out of it. Now you can hug one edge of the Field of Blossoms, for example, if it's like a spike effect coming or something that's going to place a pool on the ground. But what I'm getting at is, like, if there's movement on a fight where you can't guarantee the full duration of Field of Blossoms, Nia will probably pull ahead a little bit when it comes to single target fights. But if you can plant and cast, Dreamweaver actually has pulled ahead, partially due to Field of Blossoms buff, partially also due to Dream Delver. Blizzard made another change, I believe 3 or 4 days ago. Dream Delver now indeed affects pet damage. This actual effect here is very, very, very similar to this conduit, this Dalmatian Shard. It's essentially the same thing. It stacks and increases your damage. If you actually don't have the abilities like blacklisted on a target frame, you'll see them both refreshing at the same time. Dream Delver is just a flat 3% damage increase. Dealing damage or healing a target grants you 1% increased damage, or healing that target for up to 4 seconds, 3%. So it stacks 3 times, 4 seconds, and it refreshes. It doesn't like get the 3 stacks and fall. It refreshes every single hit you put out. Now it's affected by pets, even better for demonology, which is really, really solid. To a similar extent, Affliction. So this is more or less like an Affliction in Mythic Plus thing, but I also did run a single target Affliction sim. Now I have not played this actual build of Affliction yet. Also look at the 700 DPS disparity here, give or take, but actually this is a bit higher than I thought AF would be when it came to a single target sim. Once again, here's Nia, Bonded Hearts, here's Dreamweaver. It's ahead by roughly 200 DPS or so, give or take. If you have to move, if you have to shift around, yes, it's going to lose value, because obviously, well, I mean, it's just not going to be as solid. You've got movement, you're not going to get full value out of Field of Blossoms. But if you can stay in place and don't have to move around a million times, it's a really strong effect. It gets you a lot of haste in your Rapture windows, which is every single minute. With Soul Rot, the extra dot effect, you can indeed see Karain down here too. She's not good in single target, unsurprisingly. But when it comes to Mythic Plus, which we've seen a lot of Afflocks and on this week with Fortified being a thing, playing Decaying Soul Satchel, the new legendary for Affliction, well, for every spec, let's be real here, Affliction plays it. The haste scaling of Decaying Soul Satchel is multiplicative. The crit scaling of it is additive. But like, the more haste you get, it just scales multiplicatively. What gives haste? Dreamweaver, Field of Blossoms. Going to the actual like 4-target sim over 40 seconds. 4-target, 4 seconds. She's ahead by about 400 or so DPS. Now, Shelly has been playing this a lot in Mythic Plus with Dreamweaver. The results seem very, very promising. I have not been able to play it myself due to conduit energy being limited, but I've seen it played. The build looks very real. Once again, if you can stay in the Field of Blossoms and get value, it's very, very, very good. If you have to move a bit, you know, okay, Nia's still a solid option. And to a similar extent, Karain's very good too. You can't really sim for like a larger Wild Hunt Tactics first strike uptime in sims very, very well, but she's an option. But Dreamweaver brings that Dream Delver, that 3% more damage in single target in AoE. It brings the haste amp every single minute with your Soul Rot. The weird part about Karain is like, yeah, it's an extra dot, but there's no growth invigoration, there's no Wild Hunt, or there's no Field of Blossoms. It's just like it's another dot you put up. But no, with Dreamweaver, the effect is very relevant, and the same when it comes to Nia. But the haste amp you get is very, very, very strong. It's even stronger with Decaying Soul Satchel. So Dreamweaver's become really spicy. It appears to be beating out Nia in most settings. Once again, I'm going to test with this on my own in Keys and probably in Raid later on this week or next week, give or take. We should be killing Painsmith on Sunday. So if that's the case, we might have a little bit of free time on Tuesday, Wednesday before Raid to mess with it. But let's look at a few rotations and just how Demo and Aff really play with Dreamweaver, because it's impressive and it's a lot of fun. I'm excited about this change. Okay, so starting off with Demonology here, we are indeed playing Dreamweaver. Now, the big thing is that your Soul Rot's going to be cast at a different time here, because with Nia, Grove Invigoration lasts a full 30 seconds, and you want, once again, the stamina update to be on your pets when you cast your Tyrant. Casting it basically at the start guarantees that. But Dreamweaver, Nia, Field of Blossoms, or Dreamweaver lasts 12 seconds with Field of Blossoms. 12 seconds. And you want it for basically your entire Tyrant. So the opener is similar but different. I don't know if I have any flask on me here. I don't think I actually do. So the damage might not be as good as, you know, we normally can get at here, but you've seen the sims, you know what's up. So let's say you're pulling the boss, you pre-cast your bolt. Here we go. You're gonna forego your Soul Rot. You'll go Grimoire Felguard at 5 shards, and the Vile Fiend, build the 5 and cast your dogs again. 4 or 5 dogs, cast your Ruby. Bang, build the 5 shards here. React to your bolt procs, imps, whatever, what have you, depending on actual shard gen. I'm just gonna go hand, Berserking Pot, Tyrant here. Then Soul Rot. Right now, Hand of Gul'dan, Demonic Strength, because the haste buff is active right now. You want the Soul Rot after you summon your Demonic Tyrant for the haste and to be carried over for the max duration of your Tyrant. You can also see Dream Delver being active here. It might drop a second or two depending on where you're at in your actual setup. We're at 11k here, and I haven't even lusted. I have no pot on, I have nothing here. The haste amp and the damage you can bring with this build is very, very real. We don't have any pots on, no flask, no food, no lust, nothing here. The damage is certainly solid, but it's important to keep or push your Soul Rot back so you have it right after your Tyrant, because once again, if you pop it in the same spot that you actually pop it with Grove Invigoration playing Nia, you're getting essentially an irrelevant haste effect. Your pets are going to have haste for a little while, but your Tyrant won't have any, and it's all going to be gone by the time you cast your Tyrant again. Now, you might be wondering, how does it make, you know, Tyrants look down the line? Basically, I'd still go into it in about 20 seconds, give or take. Once again, pop my Vile Fiend here. We can cast a few Hand of Gul'dans. It's not the optimal opener, but regardless, it's fine. Throw some imps in here. We go hand, give or take. Back into the Tyrant, and hey, there's the Soul Rot again with the Dog Extension, with the Vile Fiend, Hand, Demonic Strength, and just go. It's very, very similar. It's more or less just the same timing that you typically want to go into your Tyrant at when playing Wilfred's, just you know your Soul Rot's going to be on cooldown at that point versus off cooldown. It's nowhere near as hard or complicated or convoluted as it seems, and this build brings a lot when it comes to single target. That haste amp every minute with every single Tyrant, Dream Delver being good, how strong haste is for your pets being a thing. It's strong. This build's good. Honestly, like, the more I play with it, I think this build's pretty fun. The haste amp is cool. It's good. It's a change of pace from Nia Demo as well. So I figured I'd forego the single target AF, because honestly, like, we know what single target AF does. It's a little better than single target. The haste value you get from having Soul Rot with Dreamweaver and Field of Blossoms compared to Mastery, it's similar but different. The big thing here, though, we've seen AF with Sow the Seeds on 4 to 5 weeks pop up a little bit. DSS, haste stacking, Dreamweaver, Feel the Blossoms, multiplicative haste stacking. So I just tested with Nia. When I pop Soul Rot on these 4 targets, I go from 26 to 51% haste. Watch how much haste I get when I pop Soul Rot here. 26, 74. That's all player bound power. That's 74% haste just from hitting one ability, albeit it lasts 12 seconds because it's Feel the Blossoms, but I guess it's a bit less because it's DSS and Feel the Blossoms. But you have the DSS crit haste multiplicative stacking, so you get the full effect of 72% haste, at least for me, for the actual 8 seconds it lasts from Soul Rot or from DSS. And when that drops, you have Feel the Blossoms carrying over for an additional 5 seconds, giving you roughly 15-ish% more haste. And when you stack that with Dark Soul, which we'll do here in a second, Ruby, other effects, your Dark Glare, your Pot, I don't even have a potion on here. With Bloodlust, your haste gets just so incredibly insane, out of control. It's ridiculous. I think that AF very well might have, with DSS and Dreamweaver, quite possibly the best AoE profile, maybe outside of Windwalker Monk, but one of the best in the actual game. I'll pull my pet out here. I haven't done this on the dummy at all, for what it's worth. I have no idea what our damage is going to look like, but no potion or no flask on. All right, let's swap to Seed. That totally screwed us up here. So we're still going to play. We're going to play Writhe. We're going to play Seed, and everything else is basically going to be the same here. We'll open up like we normally do on a trash pack, heading in, precast our Corruption or our Seed, and then get everything going here. Right? Okay. Let's say the tank's running in. Where's my damage meter? Here we go. We're gonna need this. Let's say we lusted it, right? All right, we precast our Seed. Here we go. Get a few rolling. Agony. Pop our Dark Soul about now. Agony. Put up our UA. Pop our Ruby. Hit our actual haunt. A potion. We'll Soul Rot. We'll go. We're at 160% haste. We're at 160% haste. I'm out of shards already. We're at 160% haste. And that's without like a power infusion being fed as well. And we could have been higher on shards. Typically you will, because you're going from one pack to the next. We burst to 30k on 4 targets without a flask. I'd say maybe a semi-optimal opener. And the cool thing here, look at this debuff. Dream Delver refreshes on every single dot tick. Unlike Demonology, where it doesn't work with pets, whenever you have to cast Shadow Bolt, Hand of Gul'dan to refresh Dream Delver, it's just proccing over and over and over. It's 3% damage taken increase in every single mob here. Dreamweaver is so strong with AF, so the Seeds gameplay, it's utterly insane. I was at 160% haste right there. Even if you forego the lust, like the actual haste stacking of Dark Soul Misery, we're at 75% haste without Dark Soul, without lust. So if you pop your Dark Soul, you're still sitting at probably 115% haste, give or take. Actually, let's do it one more time. Let's see how it looks without lust. All right, let's do it again. And for what it's worth, if any of you guys missed it last poll, my secondary stat tracker is down here. You can see the haste, crit, mastery, all that stuff. We hit 160% with Bloodlust being cast. I'm going to forego the Bloodlust here, the heroism, whatever you want to call it, and we're just going to go into a normal opener, give or take. I'm closer to the dummy, so I can get my actual crit trinket proc a bit here. Watch how high my haste gets just self-buffed. Go into our Seed. I'm gonna pop Dark Soul a little early, why not? Roll our 4 agonies here. Bang, 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 bang. Dream Delver stacking. Let's go UA, pop this, hit our Ruby. Let's go Soul Rot, hit this. We're at 126% haste self-buffed right now. 52% crit. We're at 30k on 4 targets. We hit 52% crit, 65% mastery, and 120% haste. Self-buffed. And you can do that, albeit not having the actual Dark Soul every minute, but you have the 75-80% haste with the higher crit every single minute due to DSS, multiplicative haste stacking, and just the additive stacking of DSS, or the crit effect of DSS. You won't have Ruby, you won't have Dark Glare, you won't have Dark Soul. But like the thing is, even out, we can do it here, even outside of like major CDs being Dark Glare and Dark Soul and Ruby, your damage is, let me get some shards here, your damage is still respectable. When going in the trash packs, let me get a few shards here and drop combat. Actually, your damage is still respectable every single minute when you have your Soul Rot, because you have that huge haste amp. Now Nia has Grove Invigoration, which is mastery is relevant as well. More mastery. Seed of Corruption is affected by mastery, but still the haste is so strong. Let's wait for this to drop here. Wait for our Dream Delvers to drop, and let's see how high we can get just literally going Seed spam with a 1 minute, essentially at least 1 minute cooldown. Precast. Let me get the 3 shards here. Drop the shards. Come on, Ian. This is the one time I'm going to ask to drop the 3 shards. Ian, there we go. Perfect. All right. We'll precast the seed. No Dark Soul here. I'm not going to have as many shards either. Precast the seed. Tanks running in. Roll a few agonies. They get threat. All right, we're good to go. Put up our UA. Put up our haunt here. Bang, bang. Put up our soul rot. Oh, look. We're back at 75% haste and 40% crit. And look at our damage. 11, 13, 16, 20. Probably higher than 20, give or take here. And like typically in plus, you'll have more actual shards coming in. You can go from one pack to the next to 20 shards. We hit 20k roughly on a 1 minute cooldown. The actual AoE profile that this spec or this build of AF brings is so strong with Dreamweaver, with DSS, with Dream Delver, and Rolling Agony. The longer the pack lives, or Rising Agony will actually get you more value there as well. I'm not playing Rolling Agony the Conduit because I'm just playing a single target build here for testing. But regardless, you have so much time to spam seed. Seed is super relevant. It's super strong. Even in 2 targets, got a lot of questions about this as well. The math that I've run, playing Focus Malignancy, even in 2 targets, Seed of Corruption is what you want to cast unless you have either Siphon Life or you're in a Soul Rot window on 2 targets. 3+, you spam Seed and you go to town. Dreamweaver is so strong with this build. It's actually insane. It's so much fun. Unfortunately, Conduit Energy is still a thing. But I can't wait to play this build even next week on Tyrannical. This build is actually insane. Hey, a casual 160% haste self-buffed. I'm down for that. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video finally clarified and gave you all a better understanding and I guess understanding of what Affliction and Demo look like playing Dreamweaver with Dream Delver in Field of Blossoms. We've known that Disruption's been good with Dreamweaver for a while due to Sanctum of Domination, how it's been performing, but Dream Delver and the field buff have really upped the ante with Demo and AF. The Sow the Seeds build is so good on 4 to 5 weeks in large AoE. By the way, AF still sucks in single target. Maybe not as bad, but it's still not very good. But I will say, hey, you know what? Well, you win some, you lose some. I don't think F is bad enough in single target where it's unplayable on Tyrannical weeks, but I do think Demo and Destra are better when it comes to boss damage, albeit the AoE you bring with Sow the Seeds and just DSS and everything else is just so insane. On 4 to 5 weeks, Afflock may very well be the best class to bring for AoE. Hunters are good. Wild Spirits and Antlers are good again. Elite Shaman cranks, but Lock with Sow the Seeds is so strong on Fortified in an AoE. We've even seen Warlock start to AoE playing that same build on Soul Render. For guilds that don't have Windwalker Monk, they're just letting a Warlock Sow the Seeds everything down, which is, well, it's pretty cool to me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I will be sure to get back to you. Once again, if you want any weak auras, profiles, or add-ons, you can grab them all for free off my stream. If you want to swing by, hang out, ask any questions anytime, feel free to do so. Let me know what you guys think of this video and just, I guess, the DSS scaling and just how AF currently is in the comment section below. Once again, any questions, I will be sure to get back to you. Also, want to give a huge shout out to all my patrons. Guys, thank you so much for support. I really, truly do appreciate it. If you're interested in looking at potentially supporting through Patreon, there should be a link somewhere up here or up here. So somewhere on the screen. I don't know where to point at this point, but thanks for watching, guys. Much love. I will catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.